Hii dawa ifanye kazi. Nifanye nini? Hi, welcome back to our channel. This is PVCC Consulting, our YouTube channel where we are vlogging about the different scenarios in pharmacovigilance that actually should be used to improve our health. So for now, we are looking at a series of vlogs where we've been talking about notable adverse events. And for this particular segment, we are actually talking about lack of efficacy. Stay tuned. So we have all come across instances, or I have personally come across instances where someone came and just stated, daktari, tangu badilishe hii pakiti, hii dawa ifanyangi kazi. It's not like the way it used to be before. In fact, if you can give me back the original pack, that will be most helpful for me. And most of the times we've heard of such instances and we wonder what to do, or as a patient you wonder what to do. And this is especially noted for patients who are on chronic treatment, like diabetes, hypertension patients, patients who are actually on cancer medication, or patients who are actually on contraceptives. And that's because they have been used to they've been used to these medicines for quite a long period of time, and therefore they're very familiar, even with the brands that they take. It's just like you have a particular brand of toothpaste, and one day when you go to the shelf and you see a difference in the packaging, and when you get back home and you use the said product, and you get to notice that there's a difference from what originally it was, and you are not aware about it, what do? For a particular discussion, let's look at the medicinal products, where you have come across maybe a varying changes towards the packaging of the product. And what we hope to give you are resources and tools that will be able to make you have better opportunities and better options of recording adverse events as a result of lack of efficacy. What's your role as a patient? So what we are saying is, please do not take matters into your own hands. Do not go back home and decide, it's not working the way it's supposed to do, so let me take a double dose of it. Or let me just take it at a different time. Maybe I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. No, what we are saying is, immediately you notice that there's something different about it, report it. So what we are saying is, go back to your pharmacist who was able to dispense for you this medication. Go back to the treating physician who prescribed for you this medication. Go back to the nurse who administered you this medication. What we are saying is, you need to have it recorded. And why are we recording? Why are we insisting on recording? Especially to the healthcare professional who now has gotten this report or this particular complaint, medicinal complaint from your patients. What next? What do you do? What we are saying is, what you do is report it. Go to your healthcare professional, go to your health authority's website, as we've been encouraging in our past videos. Go to the yellow form. If you know there is a particular patient who was affected, go and use a yellow form. If you feel that the product or the batch that is actually in your premises, if you're a pharmacist, and you feel that this batch actually is a bit faulty, what you do is now use the pink form. There's a pink form for poor quality medicines reporting. So what we're saying is, if you have a batch, if you're a pharmacist, you have a batch where you're suspecting, maybe because you've gotten several complaints from patients that this drug is not doing well, and you're suspecting that the batch is faulty, what we're saying is, use the pink form for reporting poor quality medicines to your health authority. What that form does, it asks you specific questions about the batch of drugs that you have in your premises that you can easily be able to populate. So your work is to populate and then submit it to the health authority. And we are also encouraging, if you know the particular manufacturing company that manufacture that product, go further and report it to them directly, as well as reporting to the health authority, and let them know that this particular batch has an issue. And from there, the manufacturing company should be able to now employ mechanisms on how to mitigate the risks that were noted with that particular lack of efficacy cases. But now that's the normal route of why, or of how you will be able to get lack of efficacy cases. So when you get a lack of efficacy report as a patient, what we're saying is take it back to the person who dispensed it to you or prescribed for you, and this person who's now who's the official registered healthcare professional, their work is now to go further and report it to the health authority as well as to the manufacturing company, so that more action can be able to be taken to be able to protect the population at large. But now, what happens? What are some of the instances that can lead towards this lack of efficacy complaints? First and most notable one is you could be taking a product that is actually counterfeit, or it's illegally supplied, and it did not actually meet the required conditions for it to actually be termed as a medicinal product for human consumption or animal consumption. So what we're saying is it could be a counterfeit medication, and that's why we're encouraging for it to be reported, because we need to collect that data as a country, as a region. We need to have that data of poor quality medicines or counterfeit medicines, just for our record, for our own record, for our own knowledge, for the governments to be able to quantify economically and also socially speaking the adverse effects that the population has been able to suffer as a result of the counterfeit product. The other issue, or the other reason why you might end up getting a change in packaging or a difference in consistency, it could be that maybe the manufacturing company maybe changed sites. They changed from one place to another, just like all of us human beings. I'm sure we move from one house to another for various reasons. The manufacturing companies also do that. They change manufacturing sites, and maybe when they adapted to the new site, or they adapted to a new technology, maybe to improve in efficiency, maybe a step was added or it was missed, intentionally or unintentionally, and the resulting product ended up being different from what has originally been manufactured. And as a result, you end up seeing a difference or you notice a difference in that. Another reason could be that this medication was actually not intended for this particular market. So there are global classifications of the different regions in the world based on the geography and also climatic regions. So we are in Africa, especially in sub-Saharan Africa. Most of the region ends up being experiencing hot climatic conditions with higher degrees of humidity than in the other parts of the region or in the other parts of the world. And bearing in mind, these are actually factors that are heavily considered in the manufacturing of products. So if you end up getting a product from a region or countries that are not as temperate as ours, they do not have the same classification of humidity as ours, and you bring that product here over a period of time, and certain advances have not been put in place to try and counteract this reaction, that can actually have an issue. We've gotten to hear of cases where people actually bringing in medication into the country via their briefcases or their suitcases, and maybe this particular product was a cold chain medicine. Cold chain medicine is a product that requires refrigeration between 2 to 8 degrees. And what happens is, maybe you move from country A and you're coming to Kenya, you're flying into Kenya, and all you got were ice packs. How long do you think the ice packs are going to help you if you have to take an 8-hour flight, you need a 2-hour layover, and then there's actually the immigration and clearing process at the airport where you have to wait for your luggage, and that's add another 1 or 2 hours. So in actual sense, from the time you left the country, you actually spent over half a day or actually a full 24-hour with this medication that is supposed to be on ice pack, and here you are going to consume it. Why? Because maybe you thought it's easier for you to get all the medication from that country too, and I mean from that particular country, because that's where you got your treatment, and now that you're coming back home, you decided to carry that medication over to, you know, continue with your medication. What we're saying is that is not the correct way, and you might end up getting a product that actually causes more harm than the intended good. Another instance that also comes to my mind when it comes to lack of efficacy issue, it could be as a result of, this could be a genuine product, however the storage conditions that were instilled in these medicinal products were actually harmful, or they were in such a deplorable state that the product ended up deteriorating with time. And what that means is that the active pharmaceutical ingredient that actually now helps the product now treat you ends up disintegrating, and what you end up taking is a different product than what was intended. Why? Because the storage conditions were not optimal for that particular for your medicine. So these are some of the reasons why we are insisting it needs to be recorded by you as a patient. The moment you notice there's something off about either the taste, the feel of the pill or the medicine, or the packaging itself, even before you ingest it, you're just thinking, this just looks different from what I'm used to. What we're saying as a patient is, if you notice any of these changes, please don't be clever. Please go ahead. Please report this to the person who actually gave you that medicine, and let them know about the concerns that you have. And if they are aware about the changes, because in most cases, before the product actually comes to you, the health authority actually was notified of these changes, and they actually approved it from the pharmaceutical company, and that is why the drug now is at your hands. So it must have gone through the rigorous process to ensure that the product is safe, and for that reason, even the person who gave you that medication must or is aware of the changes, and they will be able to be in a position to discuss that further with you. If it's a change that is not noted, again, you could be the person who raises a flag, and the whole system will end up being activated just because you took the step of actually mentioning that this drug is not what you're used to. And so what we are encouraging you is, please report. Please go back to the person who dispensed to you that medication. That could be your pharmacist. Go back to the person who prescribed to you, your treating physician, medical doctor, your dentist, or it could be the person who was actually given the care to administer the product to you, and that is the nursing care. They need to be aware about this. They need to be aware about this so that they can be able to move it to the next step. In addition to that, we are also empowering you and letting you know that you need to also go back to the health authority. You can go to the health authority, just take your mobile phone, scroll, go to your local health authority website, download the yellow forms that you're supposed to use, populate with any information that you come across, and let the health authority know firsthand that you're actually not happy with the medication that you are prescribed for. So if you have come across any of these instances, if you like this video, please comment down below, like our page, visit our website, and we will be able to engage further with you. Thank you.